Okay, let's take a look at Dagath. We're going to go through all of Dagath's abilities as well as some gameplay and a build I have for her. There will be time codes in the description below if you want to skip to a certain subject. But let's start with her abilities, okay? Passive. There is a 35% chance that energy and health orbs will be 300% more effective on Dagath. Now, this actually does not seem very good at the very beginning. I'll be honest, I glanced over it. It's very easy to glance over, but this is basically two arcanes in one. Arcane Energizer and Arcane Pulse in one. It just is for you only, yes, but it's basically two arcanes in one because it has energy and health orbs. And it's way better than both of those arcane, let's be honest. So, yeah, very good passive. Probably one of the best passives in the game, oddly enough. So, yeah, let's move on. First ability, Wood Scythe. Wood Scythes surround Dagath and seek out nearby enemies. Those struck are slowed and suffer viral damage with a guaranteed status effect. The scythes also spread doom and extend its duration. So we'll get to doom, but basically it will be a good idea to cast doom before scythes if you want to be the most optimal. I'm never the most optimal, but that's always an option. Doom. Condemn nearby enemies to their doom. A portion of the damage Dagath deals is revisited upon them by a wood scythe. They also suffer viral damage. I'll be honest, this reminds me of another ability of another frame, honestly, so I didn't think too much about it, but it had its uses. It works pretty well. Third ability, which this one is probably the most useful and the least useful at the same time. I'll explain, okay? Grave Spirit. Supercharge Dagath's weapons with extra critical damage. The effects are doubled on doomed enemies. Escape Fatal Blow is by briefly assuming a spectral form. So basically, what happens is this is one of the cast and forget it. It's not even a channeled ability. You just cast it and then it just stays cast until you either fall off a map or a nullifier or something uncatches it for you. And then what happens is if you die while it's active, you won't die. Instead, you'll go into a spectral form and whatnot, which makes it okay, which makes it good. It's kind of a get out of jail free card, but why I said most useful and least useful, because its most useful part comes in the critical damage. That is going to be its most useful in my opinion. Because of the fact that it is a get jail free card in case you mess up, won't paying attention. But with that said, usually if you're going against super high level enemies and you're going to go down anyway, chances are you're going to go down again before its cooldown finishes. It has a cooldown of 25 seconds. So keep that in mind. So yeah, I'm kind of iffy about this. But yeah, it has its purposes. And let's move on to the fourth ability, shall we? Which is Cavalry. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. Horses Cavalry. Okay. Phantom Caves charge forth, inflicting viral damage upon all in their paths. Their attack strips the defense of doomed enemies. Okay. So, it's 5 of them that get summoned, as you can see in this thing, and they actually are very powerful, okay? Like, super powerful. So powerful, I'm concerned that they're going to get nerfed. Especially if you combine them with the 2 Doom. They are brilliant. And if you have this on, combined with the Doom, it just makes it so brilliant. I mean, they seem to kill XMSs with no problem at all either. So they are pretty good. Now let's get into the build. Now, yes, there is nothing here, but that's because I'm not sure what I'm going to put here yet. Any suggestions? Feel free to let me know. If you have like a favorite XMS mod you always use. I have an idea, but I'd have to format it again in order to do it, so we'll see, okay? But anyway, brief respite. This is literally at the time of recording this, the only ore that will actually fit into this polarity that the god has by default. So there's that. And then we have primed continuity, transient fortitude. Now, you can deal with regular continuity, I guess, if you really want, but I would recommend primed continuity, honestly. Transient fortitude, you know, if you can get your hands on it. Umbral intensify, umbral vitality. Now, these are mods that you actually will get just by playing the game. You will eventually get them. They are mission reward mods. So, yeah. You kind of get them along as you're doing all the quests, all the missions in the game, you will eventually unlock them. And then we have primed flow, we have overextended, we have stretch, and equilibrium. It's brilliant in this because they recently made a change to equilibrium, which is that you can pick up health and health orbs even if you have max health. It's brilliant. It doesn't seem that good. I mean, it doesn't seem that good to do that, but it really is because there's lots of stuff such as Arcane Blessing that activates on health pickup. Now, Arcane Blessing is not needed by any means, but it really does help a lot, especially with this build. And Arcane Guardian, I just like Arcane Guardian. It's my default go-to. Substitute Arcane Guardian with whatever arcane you want. Like I said, this is just my go-to and I enjoy it quite a bit. It's also worth noting that I do have an Amber Archon shard equipped for casting speed. because the animation, even though you're technically invincible while casting her fourth ability, it doesn't mean you might sit there for ages casting an ability. So the speed up is actually quite good. If I had a Talford, I'd probably put that on here instead on it there. And as for the other Archon shards, we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. But yeah, that's what I have. As you're seeing on screen right now, her gameplay can get pretty chaotic, especially if you aren't paying attention. It's really important that you pay attention with her because the way I have the build, she's not exactly the most squishy frame in the world, but she really is vulnerable to stuff such as running out of energy and even the nullifier bubbles, especially the nullifier bubbles, because once she's in the nullifier bubbles, it even shuts down her third ability, Grave Spirit. So with that shut down, you can't really go live in spectral form. So what you'll have to do is either you'll have to take care of the nullifier bubble enemy fast, or you'll have to bullet jump out of there. Oh, and it's worth noting that her fourth ability, the horses, cannot penetrate the nullifier bubble. Okay, they cannot go into the nullifier bubble at all, so you do gotta be a little wary of that. But other than that, it is not bad at all that she has this play style. Like I said, you'll have to pay attention. Really, ideally, what you want is you want to cast her 3 literally as soon as you start the mission. Just forget about it. Cast it, forget about it. It was stay cast unless you fall off the map or did a nullifier bubble, in which case you just recast it again. And then when you see an enemy, cast her 2, cast her 1, then cast her 4. Ideally in that order. You can alternatively just cast her 2 and just cast her 4 and forget about her 1 if that's what you want, as you're seeing on screen right now, once again, the gameplay. However, now I do have some final thoughts about this, okay? Keep in mind, these final thoughts are based on the frame how she is now. I don't know if she's gonna get nerfed in the future or buffed in the future. As of making this video, she is the latest frame, the newest frame. So, yeah. Now, the thing about her that I will say is she is fun to play if you're playing her. I don't know if she's as fun if you go in a lobby with people who love to get a bunch of kills and stuff, because her horses literally can kill just about anything. If it's low to mid level, they are just dead. If it's high level even, they're just kind of dead. So yeah, because I play her in the Steel Path regularly, personally. So there definitely is that to keep in mind. Other people on public might actually even leave at the sight of her being in the game. Keep that in mind. That's just my final thoughts. But she is very fun to play. I do recommend farming for her. She is worth it, in my opinion. Whether to dwarf buying with platinum, I am not entirely sure. Definitely keep that in mind. It's up to you. I'm not sure if to dwarf buying in platinum. You can farm her relatively easy. I have a whole guide on how to actually go about farming her. Feel free to check that out. And yeah, with that said, I will catch you guys in the future. Later.